Welcome to the Real Film Nerds Podcast.
Welcome, everyone, back to Real Film Nerds Podcast, episode number 289. Matt continues drinking Oktoberfest. Woo! I went to the store. I stocked up. I bought a whole case of Oktoberfest. Now, a case of Oktoberfest is 2 12-packs. I was very upset. It was not on sale anymore. There was hardly any Oktoberfest left. So I stocked up at our good old-fashioned Total Wine, which I'm going to get blamed for because it's a chain, and this is small-town Prescott. But hey, they had Oktoberfest. I knew they had it. I went and bought it. Anyways, on with the podcast, Real Film Nerds, episode number 289. See how they run. Mike, as always, is my co-host. He likes movies. He especially likes beer almost as much as he likes movies. Mike, good evening.
Good evening, Matt.
That's all I get out of you? I do all this build-up and I just get a good evening back? Jesus.
Yeah, that's all you get. No, Matt, that was very apt for the movie that we just watched. See how they run. This was an interesting movie that I didn't really know too much about, so it was a lot of fun.
I've seen the trailers for it. I don't want to get too much into it before you start doing your breakdown, but I had higher hopes. So on that note, Mike, give us your breakdown.
All right, Matt. So this movie was directed by Tom George. It was written by Mark Chappell. And this movie is starring Sam Rockwell and Saoirse Ronan.
That's one drink.
That was right.
No, it's Saoirse.
Dang it. Saoirse.
It's fine. They need to have a drink. Here, Mike, I'm going to get a drink too.
Okay. In the West End of the 1950s London, plans for a movie version of a smash hit play come to an abrupt halt after a pivotal member of the crew is murdered.
Wait, hold on. It's only starring 2 people?
Well, I mean, those are the main people. I mean, Adrian Brody's in it and a few other people, but I mean...
Yeah, okay, all right, I'll give you that. They are the stars, that's for sure. Adrian Brody's in it, but he's more of a voice than anything else. There's some other really big names, Ruth Wilson, David there, take a drink for me. Oyelowo, I think is how you pronounce it. I don't know. He's pretty well known. Gregory Cox, Harris Dickinson, Charlie Cooper. There's some really well-known British actors and actresses in here. But yeah, those are I would say the stars, definitely. Sam Rockwell and Saoirse Ronan, who is not British. I don't think Sam Rockwell is either.
No. He's not British.
Which is really weird. So the 2 main actors in a British movie are American. All right. Hey, we're getting them back. Mike, we're getting them back.
I guess. Sure. But, so Matt, I guess you've already teased us about how you felt about this movie. What, I guess, enlighten us more into how you feel.
Okay, so this is a whodunit film. I think people know that. If not, you know now. We will be spoiling the living shit out of this towards the end of the pod like usual. So I will do my best not to here, but just putting it out there. Just letting everybody know. My biggest problem with this film, Mike, I really wanted more comedy. I thought it would have been funnier. It was funny. It had some really good stuff here and there, but it was almost more silly than it was funny. And I kept comparing it to Clue. Now, Clue is hilarious and silly and a really good story, all kind of rolled into one. This doesn't have that nice melding of all of it. It's kind of lackluster in the comedy. The big spoiler at the end, the who did it really wasn't that big of a, I kind of predicted it. It wasn't that shocking. I don't know. And it was not Colonel Mustard with the candlestick in the study. I'll just throw it out there right now. It was not Colonel Mustard. So.
Well, that's good to know, Matt. That's really good to know.
But no, I mean, it was fun. It was interesting. Dude, okay. I talked about it on the radio this morning. The cinematography. Wow. Very, very good. I really enjoyed it. Very good use of a camera.
Okay. All right. Good. Good. So, Matt, I think I like this a little bit better than you, but you're right. I mean, it's no Clue for sure. If you go into this expecting it's kind of a Clue type movie, I mean, in some ways it is a Clue type movie, I guess, a whodunit, but it's done in a different way. Like it has its own kind of style, and it is funny at times, but it's more serious, I'd say, most of the time.
Yeah, I don't want to say I wanted more, but I wanted more. It's decent. I enjoyed myself. I'm interested to see how many reels you give it because you're saying you liked it more than me, but I bet you my rating's probably higher than yours. I think this is a first though on the radio at least. My rating was higher than my mom's. She really just wasn't a super huge fan of it. She found this movie very boring, and I thought she would have enjoyed it because 1950s period piece is dealing with England and plays, oh great, now I'm forgetting the name of the writer that wrote the play and wrote the book, Agatha Christie. Dealt with Agatha Christie, who everyone kind of from my mom's generation really loves her and her writing. So I thought she was going to love it, and she really didn't. Her and my dad both were just bored, and I don't think it was that bad. I liked that it was very meta. How's that?
You mean it's a play about whodunit, and then it's actually something that really was about whodunit?
Well, it's almost like 3 or 4 different levels of it because it's a play where they're talking about making a movie about the play on top of the actual whodunit. So it's almost like 3 levels. It's ridiculous.
Oh yeah, I guess you're right. It is kind of 3 levels. Yeah, after this movie, Matt, I was interested to see, was this really a play in London in the 1950s? And it absolutely was, and still is going to this day in London's West End.
Yeah, it's kind of a love letter to Agatha Christie and her writing and the whodunit and the murder mystery stuff. It really kind of is. That's what this movie is. That's a good way of putting it. It's a love letter.
Yeah, and besides a COVID shutdown, this play has been going since 1953 or whatever. Like, it's pretty crazy.
Interesting. And so those of you who have seen the play will probably really enjoy this movie because the movie itself about the play is basically the play inside of itself about making a movie about the play of the movie that you're watching. See, it starts getting really confusing, Mike.
That's true. It does. But I kind of liked it. I thought it was fun.
No, I enjoyed myself. I thought it was good. I just wish there was a bit more comedy in it. There's some very serious scenes that are pretty sad and kind of depressing, especially Sam Rockwell's character, and a little bit on Saoirse's character as well.
Yeah, Matt, the Mousetrap opened in London's West End in 1952 and ran continuously until March 16, 2020, when it was closed for COVID. And then it reopened in 17 May 2021. It is by far the longest run of any play in the world, with 27,500 performances taking place by the time it was September 2018.
That's pretty nuts. I wonder if they're going to have a birthday cake when they hit 30,000.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's pretty crazy. Like, I think there's like some insane amount of actors who've played in it. Let me see here.
So now you all know why Mike isn't talking too much, because he's Googling. He's the master Googler.
Yeah, man. How else am I supposed to get my job done?
Fair enough. Speaking of that, Mike, we're getting to that point where you need to start asking your questions.
Okay, Matt. Well, let's just go ahead and ask that question.
Oh,
then,
hell
Matt.
no. Oh, no. I want to know now. You're sitting there Googling, taking up our precious time, Mike, the listeners' time, my time. We want to know how many different actors have been in The Mousetrap.
Okay, all right. So hold on. Let me find it again.
You closed it after I called you out?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Mike. I didn't mean to break the internet or your internet. What are you looking it up on? An iPad or your iPhone?
My iPhone. So it should be quiet.
Which one did you get? Did you get the new one, the 14?
No, I didn't get it.
The 14 Pro?
No, I've heard there's a lot of problems too.
So you're going to get it?
No, I'm not getting it. All right, Matt. After much exhausting searching and reading too much, it's about 400 actors and actresses have played the roles by 2012. So I'm not sure what the present day.
So maybe add another 50 because there's what they say? There's 8?
Yeah,
per
there's
cast?
8 members. Yeah, there's 8 members of the cast. Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy, dude. That's crazy. So that little of people did over 25,000 performances? That's crazy.
Yeah, no, it's nuts, man. That's a lot of whodunit.
I bet you they have fucking nightmares of that shit, like for the rest of their lives. They're like lying there in bed and they're like 90 and they wake up with a cold sweat reciting their lines. Oh, Jesus. No, thank you.
Yeah, that probably happens. That probably happens a lot.
What I would do is I would immediately get up and go to the fridge and grab myself an Oktoberfest.
Oh, nice, Matt. Well, I guess we are to that point where I should ask you what you're drinking, but you've already said it like 3 times on this podcast. So I think I'll just go ahead and jump in and that I'm drinking not an IPA, but you're never going to guess this one, Matt. It's a Bud Light Lime.
Again?
Yeah, we had some people over and we had some extra beers.
Dude, Mike, clearly inflation is kicking your ass if you're drinking Bud Light Lime again. So Mike has now turned into inflation beers.
Yeah. My new beer of choice, Bud Light Lime.
I have no idea how the hell I'm going to put my intro in there for your, you cracking open a beer and going, I'll figure it out. But okay, on to the next part. We'll just roll on to your favorite part, Mike, and not mine. Mike, what is this week's just terribly terrible dad joke?
I got dad jokes, I don't think they understand though. Gotta think I'm funny, other people never laugh though. Dad jokes.
All right, Matt. What did the cookie go to the Why did the cookie go to the doctor?
Because it had chips?
He was feeling crummy.
He was feeling crummy. Ha 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 ha. This is awful. It wasn't as bad as some others. That was cute. That's like a 5-year-old kid dad joke.
Yeah. That was a good one, dude.
All right, Mike. Let me go and ask it. I think it shouldn't be too difficult, but you never know. How does See How They Run relate to the Marvel Cinematic Universe?
All right, Matt. So this one was a little bit more difficult. I think this was filmed in England, and it was a little tougher to find one. But I did find somebody in the makeup department, Caroline Cousins. She also worked on Captain America, the First Avenger, as a hairstylist.
I figure it wouldn't be too difficult because a lot of the Marvel films are filmed overseas. A lot of films are filmed overseas in London. There's a lot of really big studios over there.
Yeah, I think it just depends on schedules and a whole bunch of other things and scenery and like what they're trying to plan, that kind of stuff.
Well, Star Wars is filmed over there. Actually, Star Wars is filmed fucking all over the place.
It is, but it wasn't the main...
Yeah, the main studio. Yeah. Yep, anything done in the studio is done in London, basically. I think London. I don't remember.
London area, right? Like
Yeah.
London area, yeah.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it might be on the outskirts, but
Yeah.
place where they have space.
Mm-hmm. Lots of space. And Jedis.
Yeah, and they created space.
All right, Mike. So we are now in the spoiler section of See How They Run. I don't think we're going to try our best not to spoil who the murderer is, but we'll probably spoil lots of the film anyway. So if this is something you anticipate yourself seeing anytime soon, you can just stop now. If not, keep listening and we're going to spoil it. Mike, go ahead. Your turn to talk about See How They Run.
All right, Matt. So I liked how this movie was kind of a movie about, I guess, how meta it was with the... It's a movie about people playing in a play about who done it, and then talking about making a movie about it. Yeah, it's just, I mean, it is a little confusing, but it works. I think it worked. I really like Sam Rockwell's character in this. I know he just kind of seems annoyed with the was it Constable? Constable, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And I thought that was I thought it was kind of fun most of the movie, but there isn't quite as much humor in it. And I mean, there are funny parts, but I guess it could have had a little bit more humor. I'll agree with you on that one, Matt. But the way that this movie was shot was pretty neat. I felt like sometimes there was some pretty good shots in various different locations and stuff.
No, dude, I think the cinematography is one of the best parts of this film. Sam Rockwell is another good part. Adrian Brody, Saoirse was another good part. The acting was great. Just like you, Mike, I agree. I enjoyed that it was very, very meta, like more than anything I've ever seen like that. And I don't like to use the word meta, but that's what all the cool kids use. So we're a cool podcast, so we have to do that.
So Matt, speaking about meta, would you call the fabulous Nick Cage, or well, the most what was it? The most talented, or what was the name of the movie? It was ridiculous.
Yeah, the recent Nicolas Cage film about the impossible weight of talent or something like that.
Oh, the impossible weight of massive talent,
yes,
or something
there you
like
go.
that.
That's what it is. Yeah. I guess that would be meta kind of in a way, but it's not like a true story, but it isn't, because it's Nicolas Cage and it's a made up story, but it's still him playing himself. So yeah, I think it would be, because it's self-referential. You know, it's a movie about an actor doing movies and a drug lord. So yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm trying to think of another movie. Is there any other movies that are real meta, as the cool kids say?
I don't know. I mean, I guess you could think of like Groundhog Day and like those movies that, the Live, Die, Repeat, stuff like that. Those kind of are in a way, because they keep reliving stuff over and over.
Oh, what's the Happy Death Day?
Yeah. Happy Death Day, or you remember the one on Hulu we watched with Mel Gibson that I really, really liked? I'm forgetting the name of it, but remember it was like a video game action movie where he kept dying and waking up. I think it was...
Oh, yeah. Oh, what was that called? Where he was like...
I think it was video game based. I don't remember now. Maybe it wasn't.
Yeah, it was kind of video gamed. I watched that movie after my son was born, and it was all... Yeah, it was a little bit harder to watch. I remember that.
Oh, dude, that movie was really good. I don't remember. No, it did have something to do with video games, I'm pretty sure. Anyways, I don't remember, but that movie, I definitely think was very meta in a way.
Yeah, I think so. Because our main character kept like trying to do different... I mean, I guess like a lot of the Groundhog Day type movies.
Yeah, well, yeah, there's no other way to describe it, because I don't think there was ever a movie that thought of it before Groundhog Day, of redoing the same day over and over and over and having the main character know that he's redoing it. because that's like Deadpool and stuff like that. It's very fourth wall breaking, which I feel is a level of meta, because meta is being part of a artistic thing, be it a movie, be it a poster, be it a podcast about said thing, and that's totally what it is if you know you're conscious in this world that keeps repeating.
Gotcha.
At least that's my thoughts.
Trying to think of another movie that is Spaceballs meta.
Yeah, I would think so, because I mean they do break the fourth wall a lot in that one, because so they know they're a movie, especially the scene where they go to the DVD rental, not DVD, VHS rental, to find out how the movie. It's good. God, Spaceballs is so good. That's such a fun movie.
That's a great movie. And Blazing Saddles is great too.
Oh yeah.
Well, they go to watch the movie in the theater.
In Blazing Saddles?
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, another one that's really underrated, Young Frankenstein. I love Young Frankenstein.
Yeah. No, they're all great. Mel Brooks is just amazing. Super, super funny.
Dude, super genius when it comes to comedy and slapstick comedy. He just killed it. He had such a good run. I mean, like 30, 40 years of just really funny stuff.
Yeah, it's amazing, dude.
So anyways, all right, back to See How They Run, Mike. I don't know how much we can talk about without ruining it. I'll just say this. The killer in the end, I kind of predicted it just based on the interview that Sam Rockwell had with said character. But there was some pretty funny parts, like Agatha Christie trying to poison the murderer and killing her own butler. That was pretty funny.
That was, but it was so like overlooked and like nonchalant. It's like, yeah, she just killed a dude.
No, I know. They didn't even like bat an eye. And I mean, he straight up, like everybody looks and he just falls over and they're just like, okay.
Yeah. It was a little concerning about their moral compasses.
Yeah. And then they definitely broke the fourth wall at the end, where they used the line that they opened up the movie with at the end.
Yeah, apparently that's just a super famous thing that they did in the play, and like people love it that they tell everybody not to tell anybody that about who the murderer is.
Yeah, that you're now a witness to the crime.
Yeah. That's, I mean,
no, it's fun.
Kind of cool.
Yeah, it's fun. It makes it more interactive, breaking that fourth wall. So, yeah, I mean, and here we are doing the same thing. But again, if they didn't tell us, we still wouldn't do it, because this movie, like, it's a whodunit. You don't want to spoil who did it. Now, if it's like a movie like Clue from the 80s where everybody and their mom has seen it, sure, we'll say who it is. But even then, in Clue, how do you know? They had so many different endings. God, I keep going back to that movie. I need to stop it. They're not the same. They're very different.
They're not the same, Matt. They're not the same. Just keep tapping your red shoes together. They're not the same. They're not the same.
Nope, they are not. So, okay, all right. So I think I should probably talk a little bit about next week. Or do you want to keep talking about See How They Run, Mike? You have more to add?
No. You can talk about next week. Tell everybody.
Okay, so we're gonna have the first time in a couple of years, possibly 2 podcasts next week. I'm sitting down with Mr. Mile High Show, Matt Santos, and we're going to interview the director of the film and production and TV classes at Yavapai College, who is also the director of the Prescott Film Festival. The Prescott Film Festival is coming up here at the end of September, the first part of October. And so we're going to sit down and I'm going to talk with her about it. And Santos will probably do most of the talking, probably about the San Francisco Bay Area and how he likes motorcycles and all those other things. And maybe we'll talk about film, just probably 5 or 10 minutes or so, but we'll get it in there. And then we're going to go see a new movie in the theater. It came out this week. It's doing gangbusters. I don't think it would be good if we skipped it just because it's doing so well. Has an incredible cast. The story's just supposedly very, very good based on all the things I've read and seen. It's Viola Davis's The Woman King.
Yeah. I was actually thinking about watching that for this week's podcast, Matt, but I saw See How They Run and thought, well, why don't we try this? Because like a murder mystery, who done it? Don't have a lot of those. I know Knives Out was, recently did really well, but another Agatha Christie adaptation, I think the Nile. What was that Nile one? But it had all this controversy about it. What was Nile?
Yeah, I watched that. It was streaming on HBO Max or one of those. It was a book / movie from back then, and they basically redid. It just wasn't very good. It was just kind of boring. It was a whodunit.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it had some controversy behind it, and they just ended up like throwing it to streaming real quick, right?
Yeah, it was in the theaters, but it wasn't in the theaters for very long, and they didn't promote it very well. I kind of thought about suggesting it, but there was other stuff to see. It just, if you want to watch it, it's okay, but it's not great. It has a good cast. It's just it just wasn't very good. I mean, the CGI is shit. It's just not a great whodunit. It really wasn't.
Yeah, I know along the same veins, didn't they release, what was it, the Oriental Express, which has been done like 15 times?
Yeah, and same thing. I didn't see it, but that got rave reviews when it was in the theaters. It's on one of the streaming services, and I think I might have it on my Vudu. But that one, I'll probably watch eventually. I mean, Johnny Depp, he's great. But I don't want to say, what is it? It's like the Tragedy on the Nile or something like that. It's not terrible, but it just wasn't earth-shattering. I'd say this movie is way better than it.
Okay, all right, cool. So Matt, I guess getting to that, should we get into your rating of this movie? Should
you want me to go first, Mike? Are you sure?
Yeah, why don't you go first? You're the one who didn't like it.
I didn't say I didn't like it. Holy hell, I'm interested to see what you rate it. But I thought it was good. I didn't think it was great. I thought it was good. So, Mike, based on me saying it's good, what do you think I gave it?
3.5 reels.
Nailed it.
Did you really?
Look, right here on my piece of paper.
Yes, for those listening on the podcast, he did have 3.5 reels written down.
Yep. And notice yours is blank because you haven't said yours yet, because I don't know.
All right, Matt. So mine, it's really funny because you said this earlier. I give it 3 reels, which you said even though I liked it, I would give it a lower rating.
Yep.
And
I effing predicted it. I effing predicted it. And you know what's funny? My mom only gave it 3 reels too.
Interesting.
Yeah. I figured she was going to go a lot lower because when she came out of it, she called me up and she was like, that was the most boring movie I've ever seen. Your father won't stop jibber jabbering and all that. I'm like, what was he crying about? He slept through half of it. He probably doesn't even know that it was a murder mystery.
He's like, yeah, I knew the butler did it.
He had his popcorn, God. What else?
Yeah, but you can get that done in the trailers, Have you seen how many trailers there are? You got time.
No, not at my theater. Harkins has been pretty good. Harkins hasn't increased the amount of trailers they have. They've been pretty solid. They stick to a good solid 15 minutes of trailers.
I'm between 20 and 25 minutes.
Dude, that's fucking ridiculous. Well, it's not just trailers though for you. You go to the national chain, so you're getting ads as well.
Oh yeah, there's like ads, like if you sit down before the trailers start, there's ads, and then the trailers usually include at least some ad for, like the beverage of that theater's choice.
Oh no, dude. Harkins, I love you, Harkins. I love you, Dan Harkins. You're great. Keep it up. They do, the typical ads before you sit, before the movie starts. And then when the trailers start, it's trailer, 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 trailer. Welcome to Harkins thing, movie. They have not changed it. It's been like that since I've been going to Harkins since college.
Nice.
So, anyways, all right. Well, I think that's it for the pod. I mean, next week, Woman King and my interview with the director of the Prescott Film Festival. I'm excited about that. I'm wondering if I'm going to score some passes. I don't know how much I'd be able to go because, dude, Mike, have you ever been to a film festival?
Dude, it's like a million movies.
It's ridiculous.
Like in like
Yep.
in a short amount of time, man.
Yep.
Like, it's like screening after screening, dude. It's pretty rough. I think I would have a hard time going through all of them. Like,
Yeah.
like I need a break.
Well, my problem is I'd start getting the movies, I'd start blending them together, seeing that many back to back to back, you know? But if she offers me up passes, I'll probably go. I'll watch a little bit. I'm not going to pay because it's quite pricey to go to a film festival. And I won't get a whole lot of it because the nice thing about the Prescott Film Festival, I've covered it in my years past for the Courier, is it's a whole week. Like the film festival is a whole week. And so they do like workshops and classes and stuff like that on film editing and filmmaking and acting and, you know, all that kind of stuff. And then I think they show probably a handful of movies every night. But the big push where all the films really are is the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And it's just like movie back to back to back to back, you know, from sun up until past sundown, you know?
Yeah. Yep. I know.
So anyways, we'll see how that goes. That's next week. We're gonna, well, you know what? I don't know when I'm gonna put the other one out. I'll probably put it out later on this week. I might put it out for either Friday, Saturday, or Sunday because the film festival starts next week, and I want to make sure and give her some love. So, especially for, you know, wanting to chat with us, it's pretty nice. We don't do a whole lot of interviews here. I don't want to say that's intentional, but it kind of is. We're not really in the game of promoting people's films. We're in the game of watching films we like or don't like or are just curious about. We're more about promoting the love of film, and the Prescott Film Festival is exactly that. So, all right, Mike, I think that's it for me. I can stop talking now because you're probably half asleep. Wait, Mike, wake up. Mike!
Oh, yeah. Sorry. I think this is the part where I gotta tell everybody that, you know, catch us next time and follow us on the socials. So, you know, make sure to follow us on the socials, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook /Meta. And, go out there, stream some movies, go watch movies at the theaters. If you can, because the theaters definitely are hurting with the kind of poor selection that they've been coming out with lately. So hopefully you could get out there, go watch a movie, and catch you on the next pod. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Thank you for listening to The Real Film Nerds. Now don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Real Film Nerds. Now go out and catch a movie.
Matt Henshaw joining me this morning on the Big Show on Magic 99.1. Good morning.
It's just the big show, not the big show?
Well, it's a Monday.
Okay.
So people don't expect much from themselves or me, which is very nice.
And that's why I come in on Mondays.
Pretty much.
All right. Well, at least I know where I stand.
Yeah, well, I'm surprised you didn't before now. But anyway, let's talk about the movies,
slow.
shall we?
Just a little slow.
You and your mom saw See How They Run, but not together. You guys saw it separately, correct?
Yes, I did not drive 5.5 hours south of here.
Right, because she's
to
in
watch a
Sierra
movie.
Vista. Good morning,
Yeah.
Ma Henshaw. We know she's listening. Wave to your mom. Wave.
I don't know. Wave? How's
Yeah.
she going to see it?
Just do it.
I mean, as she says, I have a face for radio. So,
She told you that at an early age, right?
yeah, I couldn't even speak yet. She
Yeah.
told me that. How bad is that?
Well, thank God you're on the radio. So what did you think about the movie? Tell me.
It was okay.
Oh, really? Just okay?
It was just okay. I had high hopes for it. It looked like a modern version of Clue.
Yeah?
And it kind of wasn't.
No.
It was silly and goofy, and the mystery was interesting, but it
Okay.
was like a mystery inside a mystery inside a mystery. It was very
Confusing?
What do the kids call it today? That it's like that Facebook company, Meta. It's
Meta.
very meta.
Yeah.
You know, that's what this movie kind of is. I just wish there was more humor in it. Like, there's silliness and there's some really good humor here and there.
Right.
But I expected a lot more, especially Sam Rockwell, who has this just wide range. I didn't expect too much humor from, what's his name? Adrian.
Brody?
Yes, Adrian
Yes.
Brody. I expected some from him, but not a ton. He's more of a very serious actor,
Right.
but he can lean into the silly side, but not so much the comedic side.
Right.
And he had some silly, but overall, I mean, it was okay. I don't think it's worth rushing out to go see it unless you're really, really, really into Agatha Christie
Okay.
and whodunits.
See, and we talked about it being a British film.
Yeah.
And British humor is usually awesome. But you didn't get that in this movie.
I'd say there's some. I mean, even then, it's I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, there's some. It's just a lot of it is kind of goofy. But some of the storytelling aspects were really, really good. The cinematography actually was very good. That's one of the best aspects of the film for me is how they used the camera and they used the frame and where everybody was. The acting was really good. Adrian Brody, of course, Sam Rockwell, both very, very good.
Right.
Along with the support cast, there was a lot of big names in this film.
Okay.
But if you're not into this kind of thing, wait
Skip
for
it.
streaming.
Okay.
At the best.
How many reels?
I'm generous. I enjoyed it a little bit, so I gave it a 3.5.
3.5.
So that's not too bad.
Okay, well, let's give your mother a call and see what Ma Hinshaw gave the movie See How They Run coming up on Magic 99.1.
Hi, Lisa.
Good morning, Ma Hinshaw. It's Lisa and your son Matt calling on Magic 99.1. Say hi to your mother, Matt.
Hello, Mother.
Hello.
How you doing there, Ma?
Oh, I'm doing fine.
Terrific, terrific. Are you ready to tell us your thoughts on See How They Run?
Yes, I am.
Okay, tell me, what'd you think?
We went in the theater, and there was one other person there.
Okay.
Oh, dear. It was long, and my husband fell asleep. He said, if you need some sleep, go to that movie.
Okay. How long did he sleep for? Pretty much all of it?
Not all of it,
Okay.
but probably half, I
Okay.
think.
Okay, that's a nice nap. You betcha. And did you fall asleep? Any snores from you?
No, actually not. I love British movies, and I'm an Agatha Christie fan,
Okay.
and they tried very hard to do the same kind of thing that she did. I don't think they quite made it, but
Okay.
it was cute.
It was cute. Okay. I mean, I don't know if I would want to sit there and watch, a 2-hour movie that was just cute. How many cookies you going to give it?
Well,
You should have known by now. Jeez. Holy
Well,
cow,
I
you had all
waver.
weekend.
She wavers.
I waver. I'll say 3.
3.
Yeah.
3 cookies. Okay. Well, Matt was a little
Yeah.
more generous than you. Gave it 3.5.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, he liked the cinematography, so there was that.
I agree. I agree with that, and I thought that they got the period good.
Right,
That
right.
was great.
Okay. So both
But-
of you sound a little less than impressed with this movie, and that's okay.
Yes.
Well, but you expect an Agatha Christie kind of ending and stuff, and it wasn't quite there.
Okay.
But they tried.
They tried. Okay. We're going to give him a participation medal this morning. Ma Hinshaw, thank you so much for checking in with us this morning.
Thank you.
You're
On
welcome.
99.1.
Atta girl. Talk to you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
So you're not going to review a movie for us next
No,
week,
well,
right?
we might. I don't know. I'm interviewing the director of the Prescott Film Festival
Okay.
for next week's podcast,
Yes.
but I'm going back and forth. I'm going to discuss it with my co-host this evening when we record our podcast for this week.
Okay.
For those of you who do not know or don't care, we record on Monday and I put it out on Wednesday.
You guys all care.
But-
I know you care. Check it out. The podcast is called The Real Film Nerds. Make Maddie's day, all right?
But-
Because he can see how many people listen to it and how many people do not.
I do.
Yes.
And so if we do a movie, I think I might go and watch one anyways.
Okay.
And this one's just tearing up the charts. And my co-host picked this week's film, and he was wavering between this movie and See How They Run.
Okay.
It's Woman King. I'm gonna
Oh,
go
yes.
check that out. It's doing gangbusters.
It is.
Viola Davis always is excellent.
She's an amazing actress.
So
okay.
even if we don't do it for the pod, I really want to see that movie.
Okay, well, I really
So,
want to see it too. So
I'll let
let
you
me know
know.
when you go. All right.
Okay.
All right, you guys. Like I said, check out the podcast. It's called The Real Film Nerds. You can catch Maddie and his mother here every Monday morning on what station?
Oh, the marvelous Magic 99.1.
Yep.